What's up? Welcome everybody back to another edition of Chairgatin. I'm your host, Rattlesnake, coming at you live once again from Austin, Texas. We are the Kings of Talladega, here with my co-host, Dakota. What up, Dakota?
That's a goddamn fact right there, boy. I think we put our stamp on it this time. I mean, we broke her in earlier this year, and we sent her off with a bang. We got a lot to dissect. Let's fucking get it, dude.
Let's do it. What's up? It's Chairgatin coming at you live.
Hello, come right in.
Rock, flag, and eagle.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So, cracking open another beer for this episode.
Dude, I literally am like, should I even be doing this right now?
I know. I haven't drank since we got back, and I was like at work just beat. If you can't tell, I'm losing my voice or it's coming back.
That's a rough
one. So here we go. I'm doing it.
Oh,
and in this episode, I'm actually going to be drinking out of the cup that I got from Cheddar's. This is the Tyler Reddick one.
Is that quick?
Yeah, dude. That day, my wife got like an email saying like, "Hey, Cheddar's is doing these collectible cups. If you go there with RCR." And I was like, well, I guess I know what we're eating for dinner tonight. Let's do it. So I got one with Austin Dillon and one with Tyler Reddick. And they're pretty dope.
I like it.
Dude, you got to support the companies that support NASCAR. You know what I mean?
God, you sound like Justin. You hung out with Justin too much this weekend.
Does Justin say that?
Justin always says that. He's like, you got to support your drivers, companies. I was like, dude, I don't want fucking Subway. And I was like, no, look, I'll support the scheme, but I don't want fucking Subway.
All right, here's my point to that. Is you can't just like arbitrarily support the companies that support your driver, because how are they going to know you're going to Subway because of the race? But if they do something specific for NASCAR like this with cups, you should go support it. Yeah. So they know, oh, okay, there's a big NASCAR audience. Like, this is working. Let's put more money into the sport. If NASCAR was like, hey, come by on this day to get some commemorative like Kevin Harvick thing, then I would be like, go do it.
Yeah, I'm always like, hey, if I'm in a gas station, I see something, I'll snag it. Or like, hey, like, can I have that, please? Or
right, anything NASCAR related.
But I'm not like, hey, I'm gonna eat McDonald's today.
Right. I know you hate McDonald's. Nathan's asking us to come in. There you go. This one's got Tyler Reddick on it, which actually makes sense because he actually drives the Cheddar's cars. And then the Austin Dillon one just has this like Bass Pro car on it. I was like, that's kind of weird, but it's cool that they have both. And then they have a third one with Richard Childress. Was like,
yeah, I see the picture you posted or whatever, and it was like Richard Childress. Like,
yeah, like what a pimp. So I just asked. I called ahead and I was like, hey, do y'all actually have these cups?
Because but what? NASCAR?
Yeah. I'm in Austin, Texas. It's not like I'm in Bristol, Tennessee, you know? So I had to call ahead just to make sure. And they were like, oh, yeah, actually, we do have them. And I go in and I asked the waiter and he's like, I don't think we have those. I was like, oh, I called. You have them.
You do.
Yeah. And he was like, okay, I'll go check.
I talk to Cynthia.
So we went to the back, checked, brought out. I was like, more than likely we're gonna get two of the same cup, and that's gonna kind of piss me off. But I don't want to be like a nuisance. He comes back with the Austin Dillon and the Tyler Reddick one. I was like, score, let's go.
They just gave them to you. You had to order food.
You had to order just to drink. You could have gone in and just got like a Coke, and it had to be a Coke product because I guess that's the sponsorship with Coke also. So I mean, we just ate dinner because I'm like, well, I'm there and it's dinner time. You know, it's a pretty good restaurant, so highly recommended. If you live by your Cheddar's and you're an RCR fan.
If it's more of like if I was buying one or there already, I'd be like, I'll stop in.
Right. I mean, if you got to drive out of your way, we have like 4 in Austin. So I was like, it's not even out of my way. I'll just go get dinner there instead of like a Chili's.
Anyways, nice cup, bro. I think we got a lot to jump into.
I think we might just need to spend the whole episode talking about this cup.
So I was wondering,
just an hour-long episode.
I was like, well, I feel like we should backtrack and start where I picked your gorgeous ass up at the airport and just go from there, or we could talk about the race and then go from there. I was like, no, there's more important things to discuss, like beer drinking and bead slinging and cups on cups.
Yeah, where do we even begin? So we both go to Talladega every single year, but this one was special.
And we didn't even see the race.
That's the craziest part. And this is the best, I guess the best way to like sum up Talladega is it's how did you put it? You go
This was like, I mean, it was like a top fiver, dude.
no, what'd you say? You go to the boulevard and a race happens or something like that?
No, I went to party and a race broke out.
That's it. Yeah, that's a really good way to describe it.
That should be a
because
t-shirt.
we didn't even
God. Write it down.
All right, it's in my brain. We didn't even get to see the Cup race. We will get to the truck and the Xfinity race because we did see some badass racing.
Saturday was one of the best days of my life.
Hell, we saw dirt racing, but we didn't get to see Cup racing. The reason we were there, and yet we both left saying this is one of the best Talladegas we've ever been to.
Yeah,
it's really hard to explain unless you're there, but we're gonna try to explain that because I mean that's like the whole point of what we're doing here.
Yeah.
So, what made this one so special, Dakota?
I think it was just all our fucking friends. Everybody came. Everybody got together. It wasn't like, yeah, we'll try to hang out. Maybe we'll see you. Like, all the boys showed up. We fucking tailgated. We partied. We camped. And everybody had a good time. There was never once, like, how many times you get, friends of friends together, and it's like, oh, man, I don't know about those guys. Or,
right, I don't know. Like,
I don't trust those guys.
Right.
Stuff like that. So, those things happen when you get, a bunch of alpha males in the same campsite. However, all the boys, man, everybody was putting on. Everybody has a good time. We were rolling like 15 deep up the tailgate.
Seriously, I counted. Our campsite was 15. I mean,
we rolled up. Shout out to Sundays for NASCAR boys. We roll up and we just take over. We get there. we just cover your six, tag and move. We're just like the squad coming through the.
I mean, how many shout outs do we have to give? We got to give Sundays are for NASCAR. We
LTC boys.
We camped with them. Left Turn Colt. They were all there. And then a bunch of just other random people.
Dude, yeah, the Sweetwater boys.
Sweetwater.
Sweetwater.
They pretty much sponsored us. They're giving us free beer the whole time.
Dude,
so
I don't know how much pull they got, but that would be a cool sponsor. That's something.
There you go. I mean, they were pretty much sponsoring our tailgate already. They had the tent set up, giving us free beer.
Shout out to Sweetwater Brewing.
Check them out.
Everyone's thirst at the Campside Creek.
Check them out if you haven't had them. Local Georgia
Atlanta,
brewery.
Georgia. Yeah.
Yep. It's pretty good beer.
Man, it was fun as hell, dude. It started off.
Dalton Good, Wilding Out, by the way.
Dalton Good. Well, he's with LTC too,
I know, but I'm just saying him specifically.
Oh, man. Dalton Good was on his worst behavior. Shout out to his dad. I sent him a video. I sent his dad a video, and I said, don't worry. I said, I'm being easy on him. And it was a video. And he said, my God, I was like, he needed a night like that.
It was a Boulevard video?
Yes. It was a video of videos. And his dad was like, yeah, he really needed something like this in his life. Yeah. And man, I think Dalton loved it. I think he had a good time. But picked you up. We finally get out there and we're like getting set up. Like, was that a good spot? Was this a good spot? I took you to my trustworthy homeland, South Park side camping, and you were questionable. You were getting.
I was definitely.
You were hesitant at first, but I'll have you. I mean, I think our spot's pretty dope over there.
Oh yeah, it totally worked out. That's where we got to go back to.
Yeah, I like
specifically that spot too.
It's got benefits. Yeah, I think I'd be cool getting that same corner if we can.
The floodlight.
If we pull up one next year and like someone's there, I'd be like, hey, move it.
You got to go, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. The floodlight at first was worrisome. But I go back. I got to sleep because I got like 2 hours of sleep the night before.
Well, what helped is we were all men and we knew how to turn it on and off.
That's the thing. So we pull up and we didn't realize when we were setting up during the daytime because the sun is out. We get back and it's like pitch black. It's like almost midnight. And there's a floodlight that's for the whole campground, but it is just right on top of our spot, which was nice because you didn't need to add much light beyond that. But trying to go to sleep, it was
kind of like a damn floodlight right in your damn campsite.
But yeah, we're men, we're grown men, so we took care of it. We took some beer bottles and threw it out. No, I'm just kidding.
Meeting up with the Sweetwater boys on accident. It turns out they were camped out. They were thinking like we were, creekside camping.
Find the water. Yep.
So
just like every good civilization.
It's damn hot on Friday, and we're like, hey, why not go ahead and just like crack crack a couple cold ones and get in the creek. Post it up, dude. That was one of my favorite freaking parts. I'm not gonna
Right
lie.
when we get there, we set up
Yeah.
camp, which I'm a big advocate of. I'm always like, set your shit up right away because you're not gonna do it later. I promise.
Yeah.
You will not find the time.
Do
You're
it
gonna
while
get
it's
drunk.
sober.
You're gonna want to pass out. Set up your campsite immediately, and then right after that, we just sat in the creek and drank beers for hours. I mean, it was it was one of the best times. It felt like a camping trip with the boys. We were just sitting out in nature, drinking beers.
You wouldn't have realized there's one of the greatest racetracks right there across the way.
Yeah, but you look over and you go, "Oh, there it is," and then you see all the Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott flags.
Yeah. So that's enough of that.
I mean, some of those flags were at our campsite.
Yeah,
we had such an eclectic group of fans.
Yeah, we did.
The fuck Kyle Busch and then fuck Chase Elliott, but it was within our little campsite.
Yeah, it was all good fun. Hell,
yeah.
And then what? After copious amounts of beer, we met up with Sweetwater Boys. They grilled wings. We had some damn burgers, and we went in a little dirt track racing. Broke my cherry on the dirt track racing. That shit was fun. I was trying not to be a downer, but I was like, I'm ready to fucking go.
Here's the problem.
We showed up too early.
And I told you this. I said last year I went at like 3 a.m. Like it runs all night. It's wild because we get there and they're just running like heat laps after heat laps after heat laps after heat laps. And you're like, okay, when is this starting? And then they bring them back out and you're like, okay, here we go. Oh shit. And
this is a warm up.
Yeah, you get all excited and then they're like, oh no, this is like heat lap number 2. And then they just keep going. And then finally it's like, oh, now it's qualifying. And you're just like, holy shit, what is going on? It's like they pack an entire weekend of racing into just one day. And we got the front end of it, unfortunately, not the better part. So I think that's why you didn't like it as much. But you have to admit, when the stock cars came out, it was kind of fun with like the Honda Civics and shit running around the track.
Oh, man.
That was hilarious. They had the little rice burners just running around a dirt track, and no barriers, by the way. They were just going straight off the edge. If they were sending it into a turn,
I don't know what's going on with their safety program over there at the dirt track, but it's really like 1988
or fan safety. Shit, we were walking on the grandstands and there's holes. And
we're like, it'd be crazy if a fan or a car went over that damn field.
And then lap 1, it's just like whoop.
One did.
Yep.
Man, it was so. Well, here's the thing too. Is
Haley Deegan was at the dirt race also.
Yeah, she was, anonymously there. If we'd went to the Boulevard and then went to the dirt track race, I've been like, hey, y'all go dirt track race. I'm gonna go back to camp. I think I would have been wore out.
I like dirt racing. I enjoy it. I do need to get more into it, understand it a little bit better.
Man, dude. Okay, so I guess the dirt track was a warm up. It was nice to see some racing. We were all fiending for some, hot track action. And as we made our way back, shout out Dylan Slay, OG Dega boy, Dylan Slay. He is. You'll have to meet him one day. He's been there a time or two. So we we make our way back. You had to go back and claim camp. Check everything was going on. I escaped that real quick. Went and picked some friends up. Made my way to the Boulevard. Slid in just like a snake I am. And Friday night's always like a little, pregame, like, what's going on? All right, yeah. And we had a couple boys. It was their first time on the Boulevard. And I was like, let Uncle D, show you what's going on. Let's go over here real quick. And it was all right. It was a good little like, hey, all right, hey, look over here. What's that? And they were already like, dude, oh my God, this is awesome. This is crazy. This is freaking, I love Talladega. They're already like, dude, what? I've been missing this.
And it's Friday night.
It's Friday night. I was like, oh, you boys are in for a treat. Like, we got a doubleheader tomorrow and the Saturday night.
Right.
And so man, we had a great time. And then we made it, somehow made our way back to camp. We had to leave a few men behind, but it is what it is. I think they made their ways back. But then, oh man, I tell you what, there's nothing like waking up in camp and like hearing the generator and the damn early morning fog and just seeing like the turns of 1 and 2 through the horizon. And like
hearing the other race fans getting up and getting their shit going.
Cracking, grills going, and like it's freaking race weekend, dude. We are here. It was so awesome. And then the Sundays for NASCAR boys showed up bright and early. They got camped out with us. Sundays for Chairgatin. We had a whole thing. And then hell, Justin stumbled upon us. Then Dalton Goodshop. It was like, dude.
Also, when the Sundays are for NASCAR, boys rolled up. We did a little Yeats giveaway. It was this pair.
What up, Summer?
But dude, green.
Yeah. Hey, if you haven't checked the content, check out the Yeats giveaway. We finally got it in the bag.
We finally did
the first of many. We finally,
have you sent out the winners yet?
That's coming up soon.
If you don't do that shit tomorrow, I'm driving to Atlanta and doing it
myself. I literally, because it was like freaking flooded here today, and I was like, okay, like that's enough. I went and put them in my work truck. Like tomorrow, I am going to UPS. Like I'm mailing shit out. Hey, Cody, what up, boy? Cody, the legend himself.
Cody went off.
I think the weekend's a little bittersweet for Cody, but hey, at least
we'll get into that.
On top. Yeah, he had ice on top.
But yeah, we did a Yeats giveaway, which we're gonna try to do. I think every single race we go to from now on, at least one pair. It was a shotgun challenge. I think that's kind of what we need to do, because I am the shotgun king of Talladega. Everybody knows that. That's a fact. And we gave away this pair, but in green, pretty sweet. To the boys over at Left Turn. Or that was Sundays for NASCAR. Yeah, they were the ones that did it, and they won.
And the damn cameraman won it.
Yep. Yeah, it was maybe the coolest one. He's the coolest dude. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. But yeah, if you want a pair, they are not expensive, and you can go to yeatsofficial.com, use promo code Chairgatin for 10% off.
Ooh, if you want to look like a Mac Daddy on the boulevard, just use that discount code and go ahead and get you a pair.
Nathan, congratulations. You shotgunned one beer the entire Talladega trip.
Damn. Hey, he's a sleeper, though, dude. The boy's got skills.
I know, but
I don't know where they come from.
I was like 50 deep when he got there, so you got to keep up.
Yeah, I'm more for just like consumption, not speed skills. I'm like a Corey LaJoy, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right, brother.
Macho Man Randy Savage, brother.
I'm like a Corey LaJoy. I'm just there for the finish. Want to know what the pieces?
Yeah.
We'll popping.
We'll see.
Then we go to the damn truck race. Oh, I don't even want to talk about. Be careful when you're driving around the Talladega facility, and be whereabouts of where your vehicle's traveling on the course and the roads. It's like old Alabama airport roads and shit. Because you will and maybe possibly get a flat tire. So we had to make a pit maneuver ourselves for the truck race. We stopped, and oh my god, I ran over some fucking nail or something. And
we did have like 10 guys sitting in the bed. That probably didn't help.
We had like 37 people rolling deep as we got to the track. So we had to go back, make a pit maneuver. Shout out Nick Rhodes and my boy Justin. They took care of me. We got it back.
Y'all did it quick.
Truck race, and god damn, what a truck race we saw.
Of all the races the whole weekend, that was the best one.
Yeah, the truck race did not disappoint, dude. Just guys going at it, full aggressiveness.
It was exciting the entire time. Yeah, everybody sent it in, fully aggressive. Yeah.
And
first time winner.
First time winner. The boy dumped some. They're calling it a race to move. It was, but it was also the checker flag was right there. And John Hunter Nemechek's got like 8 wins. So,
and then they wrecked going in across the finish line.
Yeah, I thought it was.
There was a wreck right before the finish line, and then going into the finish line. It was.
Yeah. It was Bristol Xfinity race esque. Like it was like going for the win, wrecking across the line. Like how freaking awesome is that?
It was a top level race. Yeah, we were watching it with our whole group, and we're all just standing up on our feet, just shouting, screaming because it was an incredible race. If you didn't catch it. I would recommend going back and rewatching it. It's that good. And truck races aren't that long, so you could go back and rewatch them.
It's definitely worth to watch. It was freaking awesome.
Even if you don't really follow the truck series very much, it's just a good race. You would fully enjoy it. But then, right after that, we're running it back. We got Xfinity.
We racked them, dude. Xfinity. I think the truck race did run a little long. It was crazy. There were red flags, multiple ones. And so we're starting the Xfinity race a little late. And it kind of came back to give us our first winner in the Xfinity Series. That race was awesome in itself. RIP Noah Gregson. I think he's still sitting in the infield somewhere. Man, that wreck he had, dude, it was scary. He got tag teamed all around. It was bad. Hard licks.
And you usually got to pay for that kind of action.
Yeah. Oh god. I mean, I don't even think he was. I think he wasn't even there on the boulevard mentally. I mean, I hope he's okay.
But it was still a good race. Like Xfinity was also.
It was, dude.
A really good race.
Lots of aggressive. Just like it from the drop of the flag, aggressive racing.
Right.
Awesome.
And I think I'm hyping up the truck series and whatnot because Xfinity, we know every week it's going to be a good race. Yeah. So it was still a really good race. But yeah, it just after the truck race, you're almost like, man, I don't know if it's going to ever get any better than that. Of course, we were excited for Sunday, but that did not come.
I mean, are we just going to skip over probably the wildest part of the weekend?
No, then I'm talking about Saturday night.
Oh, man. So, Xfinity race ends. Let's go, Brandon. It's a whole thing now, I guess. Yeah, that was awesome, dude. He won. Have you seen that?
Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah. Last year, the big two was like
dude, everyone's talking about that.
She had her headset on, so literally whatever they're saying, like I think she like legitimately thought.
I agree.
What they were saying.
I agree because we didn't see this until later. So anyone that is unaware, at Talladega, you get absolutely no service. This weekend was especially bad, though.
It was.
I think there was so many people there. It was just really, really bad. We got no service. So I didn't see the clip of her saying that until later. I mean, somebody we were sitting next to, I think, mentioned it, but I was like, oh, okay. I saw the clip later and I was just cracking up because you can just clearly hear what they're saying.
And one thing I did too is like, it's hilarious. Shout out our boy Vince. He started that, but like, it's hilarious. But then I also feel bad because this dude's like the best moment of his fucking life. And it's kind of getting overdrowned by this whole thing.
But to be fair, Let's Go Brandon has also become like a meme now.
Yeah.
So if anything, he's gotten a lot more attention.
I'm seeing like funny meme pages posting Let's Go Brandon.
Right.
And I'm
I listen
about him.
I listen to podcasts that would never talk about NASCAR other than just mentioning what's in the news. And they are memeing the Let's Go Brandon thing because it's hilarious.
I mean, he's trending.
But I agree. I think honestly, I don't think she knew. Like I really after hearing it and like listening to, I don't think she knew. I think maybe they were trying to cover up what obviously was happening. Yeah. But poor reporter down there. I don't think she knew what was going on. I don't know which
one it was. But,
I feel bad for her. Hopefully, rest in peace.
Man, that just rolled. So the race ended under dark. On TV, it looked like it was freaking like 2 hours up to daylight.
But hold on. Before we move on from the Let's Go Brandon thing, I do want to mention, though, this has sparked a big conversation right now of people saying, what are we going to do about this? Because we can't have this on TV, which I understand, but also it's happening like on every sport. I was at the Ryder Cup the week before. It happened there. It's happening at every college football game. It's happening at the NFL. So it's almost like this is just a thing that you can't really prevent, but it has sparked this thing where it's like, what are we going to do about it? It seems like most people are on board with just saying, why don't we just go back to victory lane? Why are we doing the start-finish interview?
And I couldn't be a bigger supporter of that myself.
Let them burn it down. Let them celebrate.
I fucking hate, finish line interviews. I think it takes the moment away from the driver and the fans. He gets out of the car. He's so excited. You shove a microphone in his face. Not only for picture purposes and video purposes, you got a guy running around with the car with a damn camera, ruining photos, getting in the way of all kinds of shots. And then, this is his moment of glory to come out and look at these grandstands with the fans cheering his name.
Right.
And then let's just distract him. And then what it used to be bad about, too, is, they would do the finish line interview and then they'd get out of victory lane and interview him again. And then I was like, we just heard this. Like, why am I getting two finish line interviews?
Let the driver enjoy his victory with the fans. Because even if you watch them, pretty much every time they'll put the mic in the face. Now with COVID, they're like 20 feet away for whatever reason. They put the mic in his face, and he's just kind of always looking up at the grandstands, being like, "Hey," like he's talking to them. So it's like, stop putting this mic in their face. Let's just problem solved. Let's take it back. Take it off. Start.
If anything, it takes away from victory lane too. We don't get it on film. We don't get an interview there, and it's kind of like victory lane. What's the point? We don't see it on TV, so who doesn't matter?
Right.
Does this look familiar to you?
Oh Lord,
Oh
you
my
got a
gosh.
few left. There
Yeah,
can't be many left. I gotta say.
there was just like a wild mashup of random
Yeah,
deals
I was
left.
gonna
And I
say
was
I
like,
don't think there's many of those things left.
yeah, I'm gonna have to polish them off for you. But man, hey, shout out Brandon Brown. It was dark. It was literally that one getting ended early. I was like, yeah, I mean, call it, dude. It's dark. Like, this is unsafe if we go green.
So and you were mentioning that just a second ago. People on TV, I don't think understand how much darker it is when you're there.
Oh yeah,
Dakota called it right away. He was like, they're gonna have to call this. It's getting dark because once the sun goes down on my side of town, it gets dark quick. It's just
yeah.
like every minute they're out there, it is getting darker and darker significantly. It made sense. They had to make that call, to be honest.
I was okay with it, man. I was like, oh yeah. I mean,
Even if they went back, it was going to be like one lap, maybe. Like it's just, even if they tried to go back, they still had to do one more lap, and it would have been that much darker coming back around. So
yeah. So I mean, that sparks up a whole nother conversation.
well,
Thank you, Dylan.
Hold on. I was going to wrap this into Sunday also. That's like the whole topic of this episode, right? So we'll get
it's coming, Dylan.
That's gonna finalize this.
The lights debacle kind of describes how we got a couple winners this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that should just be the topic towards the end after the recap.
Brought to you after these presenting sponsors.
Speaking of which, 10% off discount code Chairgatin YeatsOfficial.com. Buy Yeti. Link in the description.
Save life now. So then we go back. And we scrummage up some scrap meals. Whoa. No. They're two different animals. Two complete different animals.
That's fair.
Like two different weight classes. That's a whole nother conversation for another episode later in the off season.
Oh, that's a good off season. Okay. Anyway, go on.
Anyways, we go back, and I mean, it was like right after it's like a day full of badass racing. When we got out of camp, there was some like mojo in the air or something. The boys were letting loose. There was substances were flowing. I mean, I think some guy's beard got shaved off. Shout out Diamond Dave.
Diamond Dave.
Diamond Dave was born in the canteen of Talladega. Man. Yeah, dude. It was wild. There was a haze in the air. There was beers just raining all over.
Essentially, the slogan, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's bullshit. What happens on the boulevard stays on the boulevard. So we can't
is a southern Vegas.
I mean, it's like really Woodstock and Spring Break rolled into one.
Man, that's a good one.
Right? Because you're camping out, everyone's kind of dirty and shit, but like it's like Spring Break where you're just partying the whole time. So we can't really recap the boulevard, right? That's not really fair.
Well, we went to like say hey to some friends, and that was a bust. And then so we entered the boulevard. Dustin Lynch concert was appropriate. And
by the way, I didn't really know who Dustin Lynch was.
Did you recognize any of the songs?
The Cowboys and Angels.
Was that him or a cover? I don't even know.
Right, so that's the thing. That's what I was just gonna say. I didn't really know his songs. Dalton Good loved him. Dalton Good was doing this weird like honky tonk dance where he was like.
It was wild.
It was. he was letting loose. He was letting loose. We got to get him back on the show. Yeah, we got to get him back on maybe later this week just to recap his experience.
Good idea.
So I didn't really know the guy very much, but he just kind of went full cover. Like 90s, early 2000s country, just full on. And that's when I was like, oh, hell yeah, let's go. I mean, look at the shirt I'm wearing.
The juices were flowing on the boulevard and everybody loved it.
I loved that shit. He started playing like Travis Tritt, and I was like, okay, now we're talking. So the concert ended up actually being better than I expected. Everybody was having a good time. I was whooping ass at Shotgun and Beers, whatever. Yeah, it was good time. And then obviously we went to the boulevard, which can't really explain that much. It just if you're listening and you haven't been to the boulevard, just
have to subscribe to our premium channel for that one. You're gonna have to subscribe to my OnlyFans for
it's on our OnlyFans. It's
on Chairgatin OnlyFans.
Honestly, Chairgatin might need to make an OnlyFans. How funny would that be?
And just do it at races or something. Oh my god!
And we just post like video content at
Yeah.
races.
We post it up on the fence.
Husbands are gonna have to explain to their wives why they're subscribed to OnlyFans.
No, look, like hear me out.
Yeah, I love this. I love this idea. Okay, so subscribe to our OnlyFans to get the Boulevard content.
The Boulevard is what the Boulevard was. We brought
Yep.
we brought some fresh meat this year to the Boulevard, and I
lot
try
of
to be the hostess with the mostest, man. I try to help my boys out, but I think I did a good job because they were definitely having a good time, getting a little more wild than I thought they'd get. It was a little insane. The Boulevard, is,
just so everyone knows,
of Secrets, Talladega.
Just so everyone knows, my wife just texted me and said, "You're not going to get on OnlyFans. You'll be single."
No, it's a Talladega only.
So clearly, my wife's watching the episode. That's how quickly. How quickly you get busted. If
I will drop a link in the comments.
So all the boys listening, that's how quick you're gonna get busted. I just mentioned it within like a second and got a text. But yeah, so I mean, here we go. Here's a good question. White tent's still a thing.
I love it. Just feeding us, bro. Keep it.
No, that's a great question.
Yeah, the white tent's still a thing. They're still up and booming. They are, they're definitely a good go-to. It's one of the best. I mean, it's one of the best things to do at a race. The thing is, me and Dakota didn't really hit him up this time because let's be real, we are kind of broke after this trip. We made an executive decision that said, Daddy does not need to go. We can't spend any more money, but do not need to go over there. If you're gonna go to Talladega, hit the white tents because I mean, I haven't been to quite as many tracks as you've been, but Dega seems to always have the most and the best. Especially if you get there Friday and say Bristol shuts Dega down on the white tents.
Really?
The tents? No, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's more of a central location from like top to bottom, but like there's probably double white tents at Bristol than there was at Dega. Because there's a lot at Dega.
Yeah, because at Dega they're spread out too. There's like one main area, but there's a lot of other random areas with
Bristol. They'll be all the way down the road, and then over by the track, there's probably like 30 more.
Okay.
And there's like Jack Daniels vending and like shitty coolers and like other like stuff too. I don't know if maybe they have looser laws or rules or maybe it's cheaper, but there's a ton at Bristol. Like it's like everybody's there.
But that's definitely a good thing to do to hit Friday if you get there Friday. Regardless of what track. I mean, I'm sure Bristol's the same way.
We could have gone Friday, but I knew like the boys probably want to go, and I was way too drunk to make it over there.
Yeah, 100%. Normally, it's a good thing to hit up Friday because
it's to get diecast and old school merch and stuff.
Right. Before it gets picked apart. If you're trying to do it like after a race on Sunday, you will get better deals after the race. If you want to make a pit stop on your way out after the race on Sunday, they're usually just trying to get rid of a lot of their inventory. So that's when you can kind of really bargain with them and be like, I'll give you $5 for it. So
definitely got to get early. If you're there Sunday, you're probably getting the scraps, what's left. But hell, Boulevard,
Apparently Richmond's hot with the tents.
Really? Cody with the drop insider knowledge.
Good to know.
Glad he's watching. Shout out Cody. Broke his cherry on the Boulevard. And
also I do want to mention Cody because he is one of the few times ever actually that he just kind of didn't enjoy his experience at Dega as much as I wished, but I understand why. He had a lot of shit
to tell us his
he kind of and it wasn't like he broke an arm or something. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't any tragedy. It just kind of like things just kind of weren't going his way.
When he got there and said, I'm keeping it easy, I'm not drinking enough.
Yeah, that's not a good start. But things just kind of weren't going his way. So I feel him on that. But he did text us in the group chat saying, like, if they call this race on Monday for Bubba, which we will get into, he was like, it'll make up for it and I'll consider going back. So Cody, it happened. So you have to consider going back now. And hopefully if you give it another try, we'll convince you.
Yeah, we'll bring more beer this time too.
See, there you go. Give it another try, Cody.
Nathan
agrees. I'll
try anything twice. Cody, you should too. So Boulevard did not disappoint. They're always fun, but this one was top notch. It did not disappoint. And we woke up Sunday to we come back Sunday to it's race morning, man, and it's fucking raining.
Yep. Woke up with it like.
I was still wet from the night before, but the rain just kind of put a damper on spirits and some other things people were losing things and couldn't find their stuff. And
certain random people losing things?
Yeah, random people couldn't remember where they put stuff.
Yep, from the night before.
Yeah.
All right, here. You know what? I'll just explain it to the audience. This is what happened. Dakota's been driving us around in his truck the whole time, so we're all hopping on the back. And morning of, we're eating breakfast. Shout out to Ronnie, by the way.
Oh boy,
Incredible
dog
breakfast. Ronnie. Yeah, I mean, sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits. Thank you. Yeah, so we are getting ready, and we're like, okay, got to get out there. Dakota apparently can't find his keys for his truck, and yes, David,
next
you
one,
should come.
Next one, David. You would have not done this one.
Dakota decided he can't find his keys for his truck. I gave them to him the night before, so I know he had them. Can't find him.
Responsible Dakota couldn't find his keys.
We spent probably 2 hours looking for his keys. I mean, we are on our hands and knees looking through grass, like wet grass, trying to find these things. Nathan, Agent Orange, been on the show, awesome dude, knows Dakota like a brother. He shows up for the race, and we kind of explain the situation. And within, I don't know, 20 minutes of him being there, probably, he pops open the door for the gas cap, and they pop right out. And then Dakota's response was, "Oh yeah, I put stuff there so I won't lose it." And that's kind of when
that tells you any kind of mind frame I was at.
Oh my god, that put me over the edge when he said that part. I was looking.
Oh wow, how'd they get there?
I was looking for his keys for like 2 hours. I was just so determined.
Total bummer. Man. So yeah, finally somebody found their keys, and we got ready to go to a race, and a race that some cars rolled out on the track, warmed up their motors, and
we did meet up with Rusty, by the way. Hey, we're gonna get him on.
Shout out Rusty Wallace, man. That game's coming out October 28th. Ignition. So
Rusty is like the model for like what you should try to be like, because that dude is all business. He is professional when he's there because he's working, which that's his paycheck. So when he's on, he's working, and then when he comes out with us, he still has a good time, right? And parties. So he does it. He just finds a perfect balance of work and having fun at Dega. But
man,
we met
Rusty, the nicest guy I ever met.
Oh, nicest guy ever. We met up at the hauler for the new video game Ignition, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah, we had our camera guy Justin hop on there and try it out. He said he liked what he was seeing. Rusty let him go a couple times on that bad boy. It's all about you.
Yeah, yep. Justin, and so I think we're gonna get him on to kind of explain the game a little bit more to us, because I was grilling him a little bit. And I don't know if you were there, but it was on the boulevard. And I was just grilling him a little bit. And he goes like, "Matt, like, I know you're not going to be like totally happy." He's like, "Why can't you be more like Dakota and just be happy to have a game?" And I was like, "I will never be like Dakota. I will never be like Dakota."
I wasn't there for that one. I think I was occupied.
Yeah. And that perfectly explains us. I think Rusty doesn't like to get grilled as much when I'm talking to him, and you're just happy to be there. So
yeah, I'm just happy I showed
We're gonna get him on really soon. Actually, we talked to him about that to explain the game a little bit more. Yeah, maybe next week or something like that, because it comes out in 2 weeks. I think he said. So really excited about that. We'll check that out. We hit up some of the merch haulers, even though we said we wouldn't. Got a few things here and there. Yeah, Nathan, really good point. Rusty's like the most down to earth dude ever. He really is.
Yeah. Every time I've hung out with him, it just seems like we're like brothers that live on two sides of the country that we're like, "Dude, man, what's up?" Like, just so glad to let's get a beer together, man. And he's always so genuine and happy. No. Close. Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, I wish Rusty Wallace. That would be cool. We're just explaining what Rusty Wallace is. Like most down to earth guy.
Friend of the show, Rusty Walrus.
This episode is just becoming like a Rusty Walrus fanboy episode. I think we just both love him so much. Yeah.
So we got a little wet on Sunday, and I'm really surprised how quick they went to call this race. I'm on the fence about it. Like, I get it. Okay,
it was quick.
The nighttime inflicted Xfinity race we just had. However,
thank you, Nathan.
Have you seen the forecast for the next couple of days? Like, maybe we might want to try to get this in today.
Right. Yeah.
I know it would have took 2 hours to dry, this and that. Seemed like the track was drying itself. After they called it so soon and quickly, I don't think it rained again the rest of the day. We went back to camp and hung out for probably 2 or 3 hours.
And I think maybe it did when the sun went down. on my side of town. Every time I say that,
we can't race there anyway when it starts. So
right. So that was going to be my point. I saw a lot of people when we got back home and I had the internet. I saw a lot of people mentioning, it didn't rain at all after that. So yeah, it's kind of weird because we understand the situation they're in, but
it seemed a little premature.
It really seemed premature.
Well, it was a damned if they do, damned if they didn't. If they don't call it where you sit there in that rain for 2 or 3 hours and they call it anyway, now we're just wasting time. Or they sit there and wait and be patient and we get a race in.
I would have been happy with them waiting another hour and a half.
I got to finish polished off the coolers that we had.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like even if it took an hour and a half, 2 hours, I think I still would have been like, yeah, shit, I'll sit here and keep drinking beers and see. Like it wasn't raining hard enough to where nobody really even moved. It was just sprinkling just enough to make the track wet.
I mean, imagine if they got like 60 laps in on Sunday and then ran 100 on Monday.
Exactly.
I don't know. But then it's also like, hey, they just said, hey, F it. We'll just try to get it tomorrow.
Even though the forecast said it was going to rain all day tomorrow.
Forecast like Monday too, as we all.
Which was just that was the weirdest choice, I think, was when we just as fans could look at the forecast and be like, that's not going to work. They're like, they're running it at 1:00 tomorrow.
It's what kept me from going back. Like
exactly.
I if it said 100% sunny, awesome, beautiful weather, I would have went back Monday. It's not.
I had to fly back. So Dakota had to take me to the airport, But I mean, Dakota was like, if the weather's good, I'll just drive right back after dropping you off or whatever.
Yeah.
And we looked at it and it said all day is going to rain. So Dakota even was like, well, that's not going to work.
So that kept me from going. And then I was telling, so Justin came back over and we watched the race. And I was kind of like, I said, watch Kevin fucking win, man. I was like, watch how Dega and Kevin win.
Right. When you decide not to go back.
So I was like, I'm just going to watch from home. I'll cash the tickets in later. Like, it is what it is. And then they end up getting rained out anyway. And then I'm like, yeah, glad I'm not sitting in the rain over there watching a half of a race. I mean, it still would have been fun, but it was nice just kind of relaxing on the couch. Like, let's see what happens.
And by the way,
I had my fun.
I should be telling you this offline, but we'll see if I can make the spring Dega.
We'll talk about
it's a certain date that's very close to another certain date.
Understood.
So it's a month of April.
Well, the Dega is probably the most important thing in your life. So I mean, I don't know how you don't go.
That's true, but I'm gonna go to the Daytona 500.
Well, yeah, you don't have a choice,
right? So and I'll definitely go to the other day. I'll never miss like a full Dega. So I'll go, but just want to give you a heads up. Maybe
just fly into the Dega jet, rent your jet, fly in there to the track.
What do you mean rent? I would just take my own private jet.
Take your own jet, fly in right there with Denny. I'll get you. You can fly right out right after.
What if this entire time, like we have the audience listening, they have no idea I'm just like a multimillionaire and I have a private jet? And
get the jet, bro. Lie her up. Man. So the race kicks off. It's a cup race, and they from this drop, dude.
And we're not there. Neither of us are there.
We're not there. It sucks. It was good feed on TV, but the intensity from the drop was like, I think we're trying to get to halfway here. Seems like we're trying to get to halfway because these boys were going at it.
You remember I texted you? I was like, "Oh, here we go, like single file," and then you said, "What you said?"
I said, like 2 seconds later, there was 3 wide.
You said, "Oh, what was that?" And yeah,
I said, "You were saying."
I was like, my bad. All right, you're right.
I get it though. Like I hate it. I'm okay with like let's do some racing and then let's get some single file and get some laps knocked out. We got to get into this thing. But like it's when it's 3 to go and they're single file. That's the shit that drives me.
That's when you're like, why? What are you doing here?
Yeah, pull out.
Right. Words of wisdom from Dakota.
Yeah.
Pull out. No, I agree. It was. We can go back to Jeff Gluck's poll. It looks like it's pretty overwhelmingly yes for good race.
It was like a 60-30.
Yeah, last time I saw. Yeah, so that's pretty good. And it's just weird. I really had to think about that one. It's rarely do I have to stop and think. Usually I'm like, was it good? Yes or no?
The racing was good. I was okay with the call.
So that's the thing. The race was good. And I think I commented something like that. Like, it's unfortunate that we got half of a race because of all the kind of shitty decisions that was made that weekend to inevitably lead to only half of a race.
Yeah.
But for the race that we did get, it was good.
Well,
So if that's the question, if it's, what the race that you witnessed, was that good? Yes. But were you pleased all around with the whole race? It's like, it could have been better.
Yeah, it goes to another decision. Is like, I'd like to see, especially playoff races, I want to see the distance. I want to see this race go all the way. We are trying to crown a champion here. I feel like every point matters, every lap matters. Other things could go into effect, and
that's Dakota math.
No, 60-30. That was just a guess. That was there's 10 that haven't voted yet, and
that's not how that works. So, that's not how percentages
work. 10% undecided.
So, there you go, 10% undecided. Okay, yeah, I like that.
Goddamn. So, what? I don't even remember what I was saying. So,
I love Nathan's comments. Nathan's comments are great.
Is that the race should? I want to see a full race. I don't care what we have to do. If we have to race 60 laps, some other time. I don't know. It's too much logistically, but I want to see a full race. I want to see the race enter the checkered. Bring out the damn rain tires. I don't know what to do. It's Talladega, but in the rain, it's shitty for the forecast. It poured here all day. I know it poured over there. I don't know. It's almost just a little bittersweet. Like, the guy.
So let's talk. Yeah, let's talk about who won, because that's a huge storyline. People have been talking about that. People in my office were like, "You were at Talladega. Did you see Bubba Wallace win?" People that don't care about NASCAR, people are talking about it. It was on the local radio station
today of like sports channels that don't cover NASCAR talking ignorantly about Talladega and the NASCAR race. And I was just like, oh, please shut up. Like, okay, backtrack. Bubba Wallace drives his ass up there, 3 wide on the top, takes the lead.
Knowing that the rain's coming.
Everyone knows the rain coming.
Everyone's driving.
This is going to be the race. This is going to be the race. And all of a sudden, cars get spun, guys get wrecked, called, it starts raining immediately. It's probably going to be it. Bubba earned it. Bubba got up there, drove his balls off, kicked ass. Bubba got this dub. Anybody could have done it. Bubba did it. So good for him. I'm glad.
That's my point as well. Every driver out there knew the rain was coming.
Yeah.
The announcers knew the rain was coming. The fans knew.
Daniel Suarez. It could have been, Chase Briscoe. It could have been anybody. But
I mean, yeah, they were up there.
I'm glad Bubba did it. He earned it completely. Stoked for him. Stoked for McDonald's. I'm stoked for Denny Hamlin. Stoked for Michael Jordan.
Stoked for McDonald's.
They won in like 30 years.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Years or something.
And so here's, I guess, what I thought about that too is I understand the people that are, kind of like, well, is that the way you want to get a win? I get that too, because I'm sure that's not the way Bubba wants to get a win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure most drivers are like, no, I'd rather have the win. But the thing is, they didn't have that chance. They didn't have the opportunity. NASCAR called it. Bubba was in the right place at the right time, and he put himself in the right place at the right time.
Right. It wasn't like he stayed out
take this away
on a pit call or something. Those are the ones where I'm like, oh, come on. But, he went up there and earned it. He got the dub. He, clinched it off.
And by the way, this podcast has openly kind of been like anti-Bubba. We've both publicly said like we didn't like his attitude about certain things.
I talked to Nathan about it today. I said, like, I'm stoked he won. I said the only times he pissed me off when he was on news channels bitching and pretty much calling all of us race fans pieces of shit.
Also, the Alex Bowman thing, I thought that was kind of shitty.
That was pretty shitty on him.
Yeah, so we've given Bubba Wallace plenty of shit on this podcast.
Yeah,
so I just want people to know that's how far we're willing to, come to say he earned it. Congratulations. That was a good win. It was an exciting race, an exciting finish, and he did what he had to do to get a win.
And even being a shortened race, I was like, that was a good race. That was awesome.
It was a good race.
Excited the whole time, like, oh shit.
I got my phone to text you, like, shit's getting crazy, and I saw you text me, and you said the exact same thing that I was about to text you. I was crazy. Like, that's how crazy this race is getting. It's getting wild.
But man, that was another thing. Is all the shit Bubba's taught. It's that I like Bubba in the car as a race car driver.
Bill Elliott was the last time McDonald's won. Wow.
No, it wasn't. It was Jimmy Spencer. but it was in '94 at Talladega.
Mac tonight?
No, that was Bill. And
yeah, I know. I'm saying that was the
so
last time.
Bubba doing his little rants on News Channel. That was the shit where I was like, all right, Bubba, that's enough. Like, you're kind of getting offensive to some people. I'm sick of that. But I watched new stuff today, dude, and I watched the freaking what's his name and Skit talking football.
Oh, yeah.
They were talking about, there was a clip on YouTube. I was like, I'll watch it. I want to see what these guys have to say. And they talked about NASCAR like they watch it every day.
Never listen to a person that doesn't watch NASCAR talk about NASCAR. It will not end well.
Well, that's why I knew it was going to be what it was.
It's going to piss you off.
They started talking about it, dude. And I was like, if I was Bubba, this would be offending me. They were talking about it like Bubba was from the slums, the ghetto. He never had nothing to his name. He had to rise above adversity.
If I'm not mistaken, by the way, Bubba Wallace's dad owned his own business and helped sponsor his first ride to get him into NASCAR. And I'm not holding that against him. Every driver does that.
Dude,
most drivers have to have money.
They made it sound like poor little Bubba he was seen in the crowd by Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. And they chose to put money on him. And, Bubba couldn't afford tires when he was a kid. And
instead of this, young driver that's been trying to make his way up through his career, and he finally got his first Cup Series victory. He's the leader of a new team with Michael Jordan. Why not, hype him up and be like, hey, this is more to come.
And there was one thing, and I get it. This is history. This is a historical win. I love it. But all of the media is harping Bubba's skin color and not that he just kicked ass in this fucking race.
That's another thing that I want to mention too, because I've been a doubter of Bubba. I said if he goes to this team, he won't last there. He won't get a win. I said that. I was like, I don't think he'll get a top
win, but damn.
I didn't think he'd win. I didn't think he'd get a top five finish. Legitimately, I hadn't seen anything out of him to give me confidence in him. But this season,
he has been a good super speedway racer. I'll give him that.
He has Daytona 500. He placed second.
Yeah.
But this season,
August Daytona race.
This season, there's been a few times that I pointed out to you, Bubba looked good, and it surprised me.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm willing to say Bubba has some skill that I underestimated, and I could see him getting another victory. I don't think he's necessarily a one and done guy after what I just saw. He looks like
if he has to build off of for that team.
If he has decent equipment, especially at a super speedway track, which is fine. If that's your thing, I mean, Brad K does that. Ryan Blaney's becoming a super speedway. If that's your thing, that's fine. Go out and win Daytona and Talladega.
I like Bubba as a race car driver and just a badass dude. I'm not looking at him about where he came from and what his ethnicity is. But the fact that that's all they're harping is just kind of like, okay.
I will say, good call on Bubba to bring this dog up. I know you hate dogs and you like to kill dogs, but for the rest of America that loves dogs,
you can't say that.
That was a clutch move of him to bring, because even the people that don't like Bubba, I think were like, even the people that didn't like Bubba, I think were like, damn, that's kind of cute. Okay.
Oh, whatever. That ugly ass dog of his.
Dude, I will fight you. You keep talking shit about dogs.
Dog is ugly as shit. Anyways, each their own. He's got a dog.
He has a cute ass dog.
Another thing too is it was raining and they did the whole garage mock shift bullshit victory lane, and I was like, they're not gonna take his ass to real victory lane. Come on, dude. It was raining.
He didn't do a burnout.
Well, and that's the thing is if it's my first win and all this is, I don't give a
back
fuck
in
what
there.
I'll say. I'm gonna go down for these fans that came back out here. That was disappointing.
Because he has a lot of fans. By the way, this is another topic that we've discussed a few times on this podcast. People say that he's like the most hated driver and all this and that. No. He has a lot of fans. Go to a race, you see so much.
Get on
23.
Twitter.
We were with one of the fans. I mean, you see a lot of 2311 stuff. And he had a lot of fans there. Well, I guess maybe not Monday, but Sunday. That would like to see him do a burnout. So I think it would have been cool to see him hop back in.
Is Bubba Wallace the 2022 championship favorite? I mean, maybe.
That's another thing I mentioned on Twitter was the majority of tweets you saw was talking about how mad Twitter was going to be that Bubba won. but
No.
I didn't see
If
the
you
mad.
got on Facebook, you might see some of that.
That's
crap.
what I said. That's what I mentioned. I was like, all right, if I go to like some weird Bubba hate Facebook group,
Yeah,
I'm
they
sure
exist.
it got really dark. Like
Yes.
I'm sure you were like, wait, what am I part of here? Maybe I
No,
need
let me
to
get out.
back out.
But Twitter was
Those
like,
places
where the
exist.
haters, bitch. It was like, can't you just enjoy that he won and quit worrying about other
I'm
people?
like, dude, Twitter is majority like supportive of people, like Bubba and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot more of a younger crowd, more progressive, that kind of thing. So it seemed like most people, at least on Twitter, were really supportive of it, which is cool. But we should just support it. We should stop saying like, oh, haters mad, cry more,
Well,
like
that's the
stuff like
thing.
that.
People kept
Just
being like, yeah, bitch, y'all, where y'all at now? And I'm like, how about you stay in your fucking lane
right.
and like
Oh,
be excited
racist
for Bubba?
mad and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you bringing this?
How do the kids say living rent free?
Yeah.
Like,
Let's all just be happy for him, man. And anyone that's not happy, who cares? Like, why are you worried about it? They probably have 2 followers on Twitter. They really don't matter. And if Kyle Busch wins, there's so much more hate that's widely accepted by everyone. If Chase Elliott wins, there's so much more hate that's widely accepted by everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
let's move on, okay? And by the way, I'd like to see Bubba win more. Good for him. And let's move on. Let's just.
Nathan makes a good point.
What did he say here?
Look at him. That was the first time every Toyota team has won in a season.
Interesting.
Every Toyota team has got to win this year. I said it's easy when you only got like 5 of y'all. However, it is awesome. Good for Toyota. Bravo. Also, we have 3 first-time winners. This first time there's been 3 first-time winners.
That's what I was just going to mention next.
And all 3 races of the weekend, Dega. That's what Dega brings, man.
That was wild.
Yeah, and we got to be there, so it was cool. We got to see.
It was so awesome.
Yeah.
It was such a legendary Talladega. Like
it really was.
Even without getting to watch the race live, even without getting a full Sunday race, it was still such a legendary Talladega, and we were there, and we'll never forget it.
Yeah, I mean this one is like, it goes down the books, and it's like, man, it was kind of a damper not being at the Cup race. It would have just been icing on top seeing a badass Cup race on Sunday. But hey, it is what it is, man. This one was a fucking banger. It was an awesome race. I mean, we got some mentionables to mention in the race, but we might save those for later in the week. I think I got some points topics to bring up.
Yeah. I mean, should we just save like the light discussion for another episode?
Yeah, let's do that.
Because that's what I wanted to talk about in this episode. But I guess this has just become like our weekend update, our recap of our day.
I drank the beer once a dozen times.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess we'll just have to bring up the lights later on this week. We're definitely going to have to do another episode then. That means Thursday or Friday. We're going to have to get on. Okay, Dakota?
Yeah, no.
I'm talking to you directly. Okay, yeah. Dakota?
Yeah, okay, mister. I got a special dinner planned and I got to do stuff. Anyways, Talladega should have lights.
My special dinner, by the way, was getting these cups from Cheddar.
Well, Talladega, I'll mention anyway. I don't give a shit. Talladega should have lights.
Look at that face.
If we're going to have, I think, here's a good one for measure. If you're going to have a race in the playoffs, you should, one of the criteria should be, do you have lights at your racetrack?
Yeah, and I mean, I'll save it. I got a lot to say about the lights.
Whatever. So
do you want me to go off on the lights?
Yeah, I'm opening that can.
Okay, so we won't do the later episode then. We won't talk about lights.
We can save it to talk about this fucking Roval race.
Yeah, that's true. I guess just to recap real quick, I like Bob Pockrass, right? I've had him on the show before. I usually like his takes. He had one of the worst takes I've ever heard about lights at Talladega.
He talked about the nightlife.
So he said the reason they can't have lights is because it'll put a damper on the nightlife because the atmosphere is the boulevard. And you're talking to Boulevard Kings here. That's what we live for. And we're telling you, put the goddamn lights on the track.
Yeah. If anything, I might be able to see a little better.
We mentioned this during the race, which is really funny that was his excuse, because we were like, how much cooler would it be if they could run a little bit later?
Imagine watching a race on a Saturday night and then stumbling down to the boulevard.
Directly down. directly down to the boulevard instead of having to go back up to the campsite
Yeah.
and kind of get ready and do all this, because it's like a mile and a half back to wherever you're camping. If for anyone that doesn't know,
We're renting fucking scooters next.
I literally walked holes into my boots. This is not a metaphor.
RIP
I had boots,
too.
cowboy boots. They're older, and I walked so much that there's holes in the bottom. And when it rained, my feet were getting wet because my socks were just like coming out through the bottom of my boots. That's how much you're walking at Talladega. So no, if they had lights, that would be awesome. We would just go straight from the race, straight down to the boulevard, and have a hell of a time. So it was a terrible excuse.
I also mentioned that, we all know what Talladega Nights is and was, and a funny, great movie. Based on whatever it is to racing, can you imagine? The first Talladega night race, like spring summer race, that will be an immediate sellout. Whether it's us
Talladega Nights, you literally just call it.
People that don't even like really go sometimes or haven't been in a while are like, hey, I want to see that.
That's
That'll be
crazy.
Alabama summer night race, like how freaking insane would that be? Also, like immediate sellout. Also, the marketing you could do with the whole Talladega Nights theme, like you could do a whole thing. Will Ferrell does the command. There's a cougar on the truck. Like it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Yeah. Bob Hawkins also mentioned that they have to add so much more infrastructure because
they just spent like $20 million on a fucking garage.
So yeah, they talk about all this new infrastructure that they're gonna have to add because in that area in Alabama, it's like a lot of old back roads, and so it's dangerous to be driving that late at night. But if you are at Talladega, and Dakota is well aware of this because we were driving around Saturday night, it's like New York City. I mean, cars are packed. I mean,
everybody.
It doesn't matter what time
we yell out and hold a beer up, and everybody's like, yeah.
Everyone's in the back of trucks, honking horns, blasting their music. That has nothing to do with lights being on the road. That made no sense to me. I was like, have you been to a Saturday night at Talladega? No, it's lit the shit up. Even the white tents and the gypsy tents, they stay open until like 4 a.m. I mean, the dirt race goes until like 4 a.m. Like, that place does not sleep. So that made no sense to me. Literally every point he made about why they shouldn't add lights, I was like, is NASCAR paying you, or like the track specifically paying you to say these things? It makes no sense.
Don't fucking say
it makes no sense. It was some of the worst takes I've ever heard.
Bob's a great friend of ours. I mean, Bob's a great guy.
He's a great dude, and I'm not trying to take it. Yeah, he's been on the show before. He has great takes. He's one of my favorite Twitter accounts to follow.
This fucking dirt track has lights. And
we're there till 4 a.m. at the dirt race. I mean, the Talladega short track has lights.
Yeah, I mean, for fuck's sake.
And somebody on Twitter, on Twitter commented like, "Oh, glad you're offering to pay for it." And I said, "I offer to pay for it every single year when I attend that race. Exactly. You know how much money I've been giving them? Like, don't tell me anything about cost."
So I just think like it's 2021. It's time. We've been racing here for fucking 50 years, 40 years, whatever. It's like, no, I think how many times did the conversation get brought up? Like, I've seen it on social media. I've seen all our friends, other people like, yeah, I think it's time to get lights here.
Dalton Good pointed this out to me before they, it was Sunday, before they even called it. They kept doing delays and stuff like that. He pointed out to me, and he was like, I think it was Dalton Good, and I apologize if it was somebody else that's watching. I think it was Dalton. He said, this might actually be a good thing because this could spark the conversation that forces them to get lights. And I didn't think about it at the time because I thought we were going to see a little bit of a race. But at this point,
races in shortly due to darkness. Our darkness possibilities
in the same weekend. That's not good.
Yeah, like, hey, why not?
What are we doing here?
Yeah, we can do this. I mean, if you can totally revamp and put a championship race at Phoenix, I think you can put lights at Talladega.
At Talladega, I would imagine the most attended. I mean, maybe Daytona.
It's the MILF of racetracks. It is.
I don't even know what that means.
I just made that up, and that's what it is.
That doesn't make any sense.
It is.
How is it? Okay.
Well, I don't, because it's old, busty, and fucking hot. What it is.
Oh, okay. So yeah, me and Dakota barely survived once again. We keep doing this to ourselves, putting our lives in danger going out there
Oh
because
man,
every time I'm like, am I gonna
I
make it
didn't want to
alive?
come home, man. I almost stayed.
Yeah,
I wish
yeah.
I should have stayed.
We might just end up retiring out there and buying a little place
I
together.
guess they're gonna be at the spring race, so you don't have a choice.
Yeah,
I
we'll
don't
see what
miss
happens.
Dega, baby. I go to Dega.
Yeah.
At
So
least he knows, like, oh fuck, it's coming.
okay. Well, it lines up very exactly with a certain date
Ooh.
that you would understand.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I know what you're putting down, my brother.
Oh, what do we got here? There's a long one. There's a long one.
The next one. Hey, great point. Look, dropping them comments.
Yep. So, that pretty much wraps up the episode. Just want
It
to
was
give a
Dega,
recap.
baby. I can't. This one at this point, last race of the year for us. Oh,
Yep.
it was great to see you.
Yeah, I was gonna try to go to Texas, but my wife said we got something planned. So
Understood. I don't think you're missing much. I think it's probably the last time.
that's the thing. It was like, should I just drive up Sunday just to see a race? But it was like, it's Texas. It's 3 hours. Is it even worth the drive?
You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Texas is Texas. I think
Yep.
that one's slowly gonna fade away like Kentucky did. I don't know. But yeah, man. Last one of the year. Last one for you. Last one for me. We got a champion to crown in a couple weeks.
Cheers.
That's gonna be cool. Boy. To the next day. Hey, but we're gonna get down to the end of these playoffs. Got one last race of this round, another round, then we're gonna crown champion at Phoenix, and then we got the Daytona 500. We got plenty of off-season goodies coming up too.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get Dalton on for the episode later this week. We'll get somebody on that we were with for sure.
That's what we should do. We should get somebody on.
We'll get somebody on because we were with a shit ton of people. I mean, shout out Left Turn Colt. Shout out Sundays for NASCAR. Anybody else?
We do the second episode just talking about Dega again.
Yeah, pretty much. It's Dega. So the next episode we will definitely kind of talk about the next race a little bit, and we'll break down the playoff situation. We'll give you our picks, not just the top Vegas picks, but maybe a little bit better picks.
Yeah.
So everybody check that out. That'll definitely be like Thursday or Friday, I would imagine.
Yeah, one of those.
One of those.
I can buy some beer.
Yeah. So thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Hey,
and enjoy our content that we've been posting about Dega.
We've got plenty of pictures and videos to post. They're slowly trickling through the.
Yeah, we still have more.
Useofficial.com,
10% off Chairgatin discount code. Link in the description for Yeti if you want to buy anything Yeti. Also brought to you by Yeti. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, all right, boy. I'll holler at you later.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.